The 2016 VDV Endurance Series kicks off this weekend. As is traditional, we're in Barcelona in Catalunya for the first event of the year, and 4 categories are on the menu with the GTs, the Protos, the Funyas and the Single Seater Challenge. The fields are as big as ever, and nobody doubts that the 2016 vintage will be spectacular and magnificent. So without further ado, let's discover the Montmello circuit, some 4.655 kilometers long. Built in 1991 in order to be used at the 1992 Olympics, the Barcelona-Catalunya circuit is located in the town of Montmello. The circuit is known for being the home of the Spanish Grand Prix in Formula 1, MotoGP, the GT Open, and since 2013, the VDV Endurance Series. With plenty of difficulties, corners that require changes of direction, big braking and the 1 kilometre long straight, this circuit is the preferred testing site for Formula 1 teams. In 2016, the VDV enters its 24th season. So with almost a quarter of a century's experience, let's find out more about what's new this season and what's at stake with Eric van der Viva. What's new? Well, that really started last year at Dijon with the arrival of the LMP3s and the PFVs in the GT Turismo field. That means more cars and it's good. It means cars that theoretically aren't too expensive to drive, and it means more variety in terms of cars. We know that Norma will join us in a while. Ginetta is there with the G57 that's limited to 420 horsepower and 80 litres. Like the LMP3s, I think that'll mean a good fight. In the GTs, there's the RS01, the Viper, and loads of new cars too. Undoubtedly, a 488 will arrive later in the year. There's a lot of development, and that's nice. If new cars and drivers have to come to spice things up in terms of the circuits, it's all about stability. All these circuits are beautiful circuits. They're circuits people dream about. People here are smiling, and I don't think there are many series that have a race calendar quite like this. I'd love to go to England, to Silverstone or Brands Hatch, and Germany wouldn't be bad either, and Hockenheim would also be my choice. For many years now, a lot of drivers have used the VDV to get endurance racing experience in order to target the 24 hours of Le Mans. That's the case for Nico Hulkenberg, Jean-Bernard Bouvet and Vincent Capillière. Racing in a CN and doing races of 6, 9 or 12 hours and then jumping into an LMP2 seems easy to them. The CN is really the car that goes the quickest if we look at the clockings from this weekend. They must be putting in 4 seconds on the LMP3s for a ridiculous budget. It's a really quick car. Eric de Viva has a lot of projects in mind, notably the organisation of a 24-hour endurance race mixing together several categories. At the moment, the LMP3s and the PFVs do not have their 24-hour race, and I think it would be good to set up one. I think if we mix them with the GTs and Turismos, maybe the CNs too, then it would be something really good. We'd have to fight the right circuits. I listen to drivers, team managers, sponsors, and that means that everything works well. I think it's important to have the right atmosphere, and that's the secret of the VDV's success. 23 cars are entered this weekend in GT Turismo. A 4-hour race awaits the drivers on a damp track. Some teams want to lay down a start of the season marker. Things start well for the Ginetta G57s, and they're on the front row of the grid in the P3 PFV category, with the number 57 in front of the number 55. Then come the 2 Ligiers of Graf Racing and Inter-Europol competition. In GT, the reigning champions Visium set the fastest time in the absence of their fiercest opponents from IDEC. A second spot for the Ferrari AF number 51. Off the start, the Ginettas get away best with the 55 in front of the 57. Then comes the Ligier 10 of Graf Racing. Very quickly, Lawrence Tomlinson takes the race lead, and despite not having driven completely for 6 months, the owner of the Ginetta brand is going well at the wheel of his G57. Equipped with new Michelin G2 PTL tyres, the Briton is even joined at the head of the race by another Ginetta, that of Frenchman Gaëtan Palatou. In GTs, the AF Course team leads from the defending champions Bouvet, Pagny and Perrier, who proudly sport the number 1 on their Ferrari. Behind them is the brand new Renault RS01 of AB Sport Auto, and we go on board with them. After the mandatory pit stops and driver changes, the standings have changed. After 3 hours of racing and with the weather conditions having improved, the Ligiers, the 36 of Duquesne Engineering and the 13 of Inter-Europol Competition have taken charge. The team of David Halliday, David Drew and Dino Lunardi have perfectly paced their driving to be leading with 1 hour remaining. The first round of the year is also the occasion to welcome new cars such as this very beautiful Dodge Viper GT3R of the ANT team, driven by Frederic Yeli as well as Bruno and Edwin Stuckey. Now it's more of a question of getting the laps in and understanding the car, and then I think we're going to be able to do some good things. The ANT team is used to beautiful cars. After the Mercedes, it's now the Dodge Viper. How was the choice made? The choice was pretty simple for me. I've got a Dodge Viper museum with 17 Dodge Vipers at home, including 7 Orecas and one that drove in 1994 and got a 3rd place at Le Mans. These Verde drivers are passionate about the sport. Back to the track and the fight for 3rd place between the Ginetta 55 and the Ligier 10 of the Graf Racing of Pascal Roturier. Up front, the 36 is well installed in 1st place with a lap advantage over the Ligier 13. In the GTS, the Ferraris are leading and the number 1 has the advantage back from the 51. The reigning champions on course for another win ahead of the Italians Cordoni and Zanettini. For their first go at the Verde, the Audi R8 of the Speed Car team is heading towards a fine 4th place to delight the boss. This is a real endurance championship and something new to us. We're used to doing sprint races and things aren't going badly for us. We had a little problem at the start of the race, then we climbed to 4th. I think we could have had a podium. We're really motivated, everyone likes it and the drivers are happy. The atmosphere at the Verde is exceptional. I've been racing for 30 years and never seen such a good atmosphere. It's absolutely unbelievable. With only 10 minutes left in the first GT Turismo race of the year, it's the Ligier 36 of Duquesne Engineering, which started from the back row of the grid, taking its first Verde victory ahead of the Ligier 13 and Ginetta 55. A perfect start for Jules Duquesne's team, who have left their mark in Barcelona. That was our aim from the start. We wanted to leave a mark and above all set ourselves up for the season to come. All the team, whether it's the mechanics, the engineers or us, the drivers, no one made a mistake. Unfortunately, qualifying didn't go well because of a small technical problem. Even if we started at the back, David did a great first stint and climbed to 2nd, I think. I was able to race. I did my entire first stint in the rain, so I can tell you that we really appreciated the new Michelin tyres. It's a great result for us. We had a lot of luck today, given where we started, and it's great to have finished out in front. Confirmation then of the Ligier 1-2 in P3, while Visium scored a great GT win in front of the Ferrari 51 and the Renault 45 of AB Sport Auto. The opening round podium then with 2 Ligiers and a Ginetta taking the acclaim. Now to the Funyos. These lovely prototypes are an Yves Orhan concept, and the series continues to attract numerous competitors. No fewer than 36 cars, SP05s and F5s are entered this weekend on a wet track. In the first of the 3 races on the agenda, Eric Tessier starts on pole ahead of Romain Houllier and Alain Boulouin. When the lights go out, Houllier gets the best start in front of the AGR Bleu Mercure of Tessier and Boulin. 2014 champion Jean Kelly messes up his start and provokes panic in the peloton. Houllier leads the way from Boulin and Yves Orhan. Behind them, the battle is intense among the Funyo 5 competitors. Away on wet tyres, Renault Malinconi can't do anything against Aurélien Robineau. The driver of the 28 gets into the slipstream and overtakes his adversary on the inside of corner 10. Houllier completes the first lap in the lead ahead of Boulin and Yves Orhan in the number 35. 12th after a bad start, Kelly is carving his way through the field in one of the 10 SP05s with Peugeot 4-cylinder 250 horsepower turbo engines. He's 4th after only 3 laps. In the pack, Gaylord Herold in the number 99 is attacking hard. After starting 32nd, he overtakes numerous competitors in order to finish 13th. Laid low by a health problem, Alain Boulin slips rapidly through the field and finishes outside the top 10. If Houlier has no worries in the lead, Kelly in the 11 is attacking hard and takes third place off Yves Orhan, then second after overtaking Norbert Sauvin. On lap 5 he's already second behind Houlier. In the F5 category, the leader Robineau sees Cédric Gardin close up and then overtake in the penultimate lap. Houlier is in blissful isolation and finishes 1.5 seconds clear of Kelly and 20 ahead of Yves Orhan. Jean Kelly dominates the rainy second race and finishes 36 seconds ahead of Romain Houlier, so Kelly goes into the third and final race full of confidence. But off the start, it's Romain Houlier in the 24 who gets away magnificently in front of Norbert Sauvin and Aurélien Robineau. Kelly has again mucked up his start, but the 2014 champion certainly hasn't said his final words. Houlier, Sauvin, Kelly, Girardot and Boulin are the top 5 on the first lap. So at ease in the rain, Kelly puts the pressure on Sauvin and even overtakes him on the second lap. Renaud Malinconi in the 81 dominates the F5 category. The undisputed winner of the second race, clear of Robineau and Gardin. The Frenchman is heading for more success. He'll regret having made a poor tyre choice for the first race. Robineau is solid and set to score good points for the championship. The battle for first intensifies and Kelly puts the pressure on Houlier. We're with him and the onboard camera behind the number 24. Houlier going straight on at corner 10. Jean Kelly only has to keep driving in order to score his second win of the weekend, and he profits from a Houlier spin late in the day to claim the championship lead, but Aurélien Robineau takes victory. We're still at Barcelona for the opening Villevey round of the 2016 season, and now we move on to single seaters with an onboard lap in the 27 car of the TS course team.
Alright, here's the lap of Circuit de Catalunya with me, Alex Peroni. Coming down to the first corner, looking for the 100-metre board on the left, aiming to brake just after it. Shifting down to fourth, first corner, quite a normal apex, flat out left. Coming up to difficult turn 3, which is normally flat with new tyres, but this is used tyres, so not quite flat. And coming up to fourth, braking about now. I have a pretty big lock-up, quite easy to do there because you're turning and braking. Shifting up to fifth about now, braking turn 5, down to second gear, quite a late apex, accelerating out. Up the gears, third, fourth, and then to fifth. Braking at the start of the ripple strip on the right, down to fourth. Try and get on the power as soon as possible there, it's important. And then coming up to this corner, which is not quite flat, and I have quite a big moment. Bit of sliding with the car, that's normal on used tyres. Coming down 6th gear on the limiter, down to second. Shifting up, important not to get any wheel spin on the exit. Come to this long corner, kind of a V-shaped line, important to get a good exit. Down into third for this right-hander, normal apex again. And then to the last chicane, which is very important to get an exit for the straight. And then the last corner is a simple flat out. And then back to the start and finish line.
You're used to it by now. There are 3 single-seater races, and the big question here in Barcelona is just who will succeed the Swiss racer David Dreux, who was so dominant last year. In pole position, Ukrainian Alexei Chuklin in front of the Australian Alex Peroni and the young Frenchman Oscar Arcila, the champion in the B category last year. Pole sitter Chuklin makes the ideal start ahead of Peroni and Arcila. The drivers have slick tyres on, and they need to be careful to avoid slip-ups. The leader, Chuklin, is the first to uncover those traps, and he's surprised by the precarious grip on corner 9. A spin that's perfectly controlled by the RC Formula driver, who holds on to second spot just in front of Arcila. The damage has been done and Peroni takes the lead, a few car lengths in front of the Ukrainian. The top 5 remains unchanged until the 7th lap when Gilles Heriot loses 2 places and is overtaken by both Erwin Creed and Nicolas Melin. Peroni is calm in the lead, but Chuklin is being challenged by his teammate Arcila. The two RC Formula drivers could be covered by a blanket with under 2 laps remaining. Chuklin deals with the back markers, but must be wary of Arcila just behind him. He's troubled by Esteban Garcia. Arcila makes the most of that on the last lap. The win then for Peroni in front of the Frenchmen Arcila and Chuklin, who had bad luck in this race. So the 16-year-old Australian has made the perfect start to the 2016 Verde season. A few hours later, rain greets the competitors for the second race of the meet. It's on a totally drenched circuit, and that makes life tough for the drivers. Arcila makes a great start, as does Peroni, and they immediately pull clear of Chuklin. Arcila does go too wide at the first corner though and loses first place. On lap 4, Alexei Chuklin overtakes Arcila, but the Frenchman remains competitive. We're on board with Chuklin, who loses control of his car and hits Arcila. The Ukrainian goes off the track and is forced to retire. While Alex Peroni retains first place, Creed and Eriau are the major beneficiaries of the incident involving the RC Formula teammates. Peroni wins for the second straight time this weekend, to the great delight of his team. The third and final single-seater race of the weekend, the conditions have worsened, which doesn't bother Arcila as he makes the ideal start to take control. His teammate Chuklin also makes a fantastic start, 9th on the grid. He carves his way through and is 3rd at the end of the first lap. Oscar Arcila leads from Peroni and Chuklin, and that leading trio stays unchanged through to the finish line. A remarkable performance from young Oscar Arcila, who managed to hold off the pressure from Peroni to take a magnificent win in Barcelona. The 3 strong men of the weekend together on the podium, and there wants to follow at Le Mans. The last race of the weekend, 6 hours worth of it. The Endurance Proto Verde with a coefficient of 1.5. On the grid, the drivers prepare for battle. All bar one, that is pole sitter Vincent Capierre, is the victim of a fire on board his new Norma M20 on the formation lap. Hugely disappointing for the TFT team. When the green flag is raised, the surprisingly quick Christophe Tardio takes the outside route. Off in the 12th, after a rain-disturbed qualifying session, Alain Ferte is watchful of the start. On slick tyres, Tardio begins brilliantly and leads from the Norma 30 and Ligier 29. Very quickly, it's Alain Ferte's turn to start his demonstration. After 4 laps, he's already 3rd and hot on the heels of the 2012 champion Sébastien Douai. Into the slipstream he overtakes on the pit straight. Ferte is now 2nd behind Christophe Tardieu. Some drivers decide to get their mandatory pit stops out of the way. That's the case for the 67 of Team 1, the 30 of CD Sport, and the number 2, a strategy that could pay off come the end. After 3 hours, the standings are as follows. The Ligier 17 with the Honda engine from IDEX Sport is in front of the Norma 42 and the 22 of DB Auto Sport, with the new trio Delafosse, Daniliu and Peterson. The number 56 unfortunately suffers a problem as a screw comes loose and drops to 5th. A special mention goes to the ex-core team of Simon Reeder, who is back in Verde with the experienced Duncan Williams, and the young Jordan Sanders, who's come straight over from karting. The team are in a solid 6th for their comeback to the discipline. First in prestige is the number 15 of the De Rocha family, and Guanel Delomier, the newcomer. The Funyo champion from 2015 proves that the series created by Yves Orhan is a great finishing school. Let's go on board with him for a few seconds before catching up with him in the pits. We're 4th overall and 1st in the prestige category, thanks to an excellent strategy put in place by the IDEC team. It's a top team and we benefit from their experience. I hope it will pay off and we'll hold on. We should get a good result and I'm very happy for a first go at this. What's the secret for getting the best out of a CM? There's a barrier to be broken through in terms of aerodynamics. I had to fight myself all weekend in order to realise its full potential because there's extraordinary grip. We need to go quicker and it can go quicker because of its aerodynamics. But these are fabulous cars.
Grâce à l'aérodynamisme, c'est des voitures fabuleuses, exceptionnelles.
Less than an hour from the finish, the TFT team of Alan Ferte, Philippe Iliano and the triple champion in European NASCAR and Villarino have a hold on first place. Here's the Spanish driver who needs to be quick to deal with the traffic in front of him. Second for the Norma 40 of Philippe Mondelo and David Zollinger, accompanied by young Fabian Tuna this weekend. The quadruple champions in the discipline survey the performance of their protégé from the pits. The Ligier 17 of Engelbert and Delez is running third and still in front of the sister car, the 15, which holds the prestige category lead. Just 2 laps to go for the leaders, and Villarino is in perfect control of the situation and justifying his choice to go full-time in Verde this year. The Spaniard starts his final lap. In the TFT pits, all of Tony Pereira's team remains focused, and they know that they won't be able to celebrate until the finishing line has been crossed. And there it is at the end of a 6-hour race, which they controlled to perfection. The Norma number 2 in its new colours wins and delights the team on the pit wall. And Villarino comes to park his car before jumping into the arms of his teammates. I'm very happy, really happy for all of the TFT team. They did a great job and they have put a very good car out on the track. The strategy paid off because it was a great strategy. It's superb being able to race with Philippe and with Alain. Philippe has made a huge progress and I was amazed at his level. And Alain, well, is quicker than the youngsters, isn't he?
Et Alain, c'est hallucinant quoi. À l'âge qu'il a, il roule plus vite. Il roule plus vite que les jeunes.
We signed off in 2015 with a victory and we started 2016 with a win. Let's hope it continues like that. And so the podium from the first Proto race of the Videve Endurance Series season. And confirmation of the win for the number 2 in front of the number 40 of the Palmere team and the Ligier 17, which is thirds. So Barcelona is over. Thanks to you all for watching, and we'll see you again in a month with the next round of the Verde Endurance Series from another legendary circuit, Le Mans. Until then, don't forget to follow us on social media and stay loyal to MotorsTV.